What's up guys, the Seaver here, back for another Resident Evil video, and today we'll be talking about 5 tips for beginner survivors. Now, I don't primarily play Survivor, I primarily play Mastermind, but I do know how to play Survivor and play it decently well. So we'll start with tip number 1. Make sure that you're shooting out cameras. Especially if you're playing January or Jill, you definitely want to target those cameras. Without cameras, Masterminds can't do a whole lot. I know this from experience because I've gone against SWAT teams where all 4 survivors just target every single one of my cameras. It can be incredibly frustrating if the survivors know what they're doing, or if they're running EMP rounds or anything like that. So it can be frustrating, but you definitely want to do that to prevent the mastermind from doing what he's supposed to be doing, obviously. And with that, we'll move on to tip number 2. Spend your money effectively. Make sure at the beginning of the first area that you're buying a gun that is not the MUP, because that gun sucks. So depending on which gun spawns, make sure that you're buying either the revolver or the Matilda. The Matilda I feel is a little bit better because it's more accurate and you can get more shots off. But either one of them is still better than the MUP, so definitely buy a new gun at round 1. Round 2, you want to probably buy some flashbangs or grenades and restock on some ammo, restock on some herbs, and same thing with the third area as well. So just make sure that you're spending your money in a smart way. And that'll kind of tie into one of the other tips I'll give here in a few minutes. Tip number 3. Don't try to fight the bioweapons if you don't have to. Now this depends on which bioweapon you're going against, and it also depends on the situation. So if you're fighting against an Annette, you generally just want to run away from Birkin. You don't want to try and fight him. It's possible to kill the bioweapons, but it is very unlikely as they have a ton of health. You can stun the bioweapons, but I recommend just kind of running away and stunning them if they get too close. Same thing goes for Mr. X with Daniel. Now for Alex's bioweapon, Yataveo, it's a little bit different because she can go in and out of the bioweapon for one, and it's also a stationary bioweapon. So generally a good Alex is going to put it in a place where you have to go. So your choices are to either wait until Yataveo runs out or continuously stun it. However, if it catches you and pulls you in and then insta-kills you, it has one of the quicker insta-Qs out of all the bioweapons. So, and they've recently also buffed it, I believe, as well. So that's a different situation. You might want to just leave the area for the time being and try and go get some supplies while you're waiting for Yataveo to go away. That's assuming that you have enough time as well. If you're running out of time and Yataveo's in your way, you can either wait until she tries to grab you and then run around it. Then other than that, you don't have many other choices than to just kind of wait it out. I'm not saying it's one of the better bioweapons because it's actually probably one of the weakest ones, but it is different to play against. And Spencer's bioweapon, a good Spencer is going to immobilize you before using his bioweapon, and then he's going to kill you with it no matter what you do. Now, if for some reason he doesn't immobilize you before spawning his bioweapon, then you can either just not run into it, or if he has the dual ones and you happen to be between them, just stand still. There's nothing else you can do. If he decides he's going to shoot you, then you're going to die regardless. His bioweapon is actually really good because of the fact there's not a whole lot of counterplay if he places it correctly. So yeah, don't try and fight the bioweapons. That is tip number 3. Tip number 4. Oh wait, no, that was tip number 4. Tip number 5 is play to your character's strengths. So that meaning that if you're playing a character that is good at using melee weapons, don't buy guns for him. And vice versa. If you're playing a character that is good with guns, don't buy melee weapons unless you're trying to do a daily or something. Every now and then it is a good idea to have a melee weapon on you as backup, but most of the time not the case. But Tyrone and Samuel, you'll want to use melee weapons with them generally. The only exception to this is if you're playing against a Spencer, If you're playing against a Spencer, then you might want to consider bringing a gun depending on what build they're using. So what I would do against Spencer in that situation is I would take a melee weapon in the first area, and then depending on if he's playing a gun build or a creature build, if he ends up playing a gun build, switch your weapons in the second area and make sure you buy a gun to take out his cameras with. So yeah, definitely play to your strengths. Bring equipment on your characters that makes sense for your character and complement your character. So for example, if you're running like Valerie or January and you want to be using your fever skill a lot, then you want to maybe bring some equipment that reduces the cooldown of the fever skill. Or in January's case, she's good at taking out cameras, so maybe you want to bring EMP rounds. So you basically just want to make sure you're playing to the strengths of your characters. There are tons of different builds for every character, including the masterminds as well. So yeah, you can look those up as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for beginner tips, and I hope this is helpful to some of you. Check out some of my other Resident Evil videos, such as my game review and gameplay and everything else I've made. I also have mastermind tips as well, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next stream, and see you next time.
Like the video, comment, subscribe. Check me out on twitch.tv/DeceiverGame. There are some other videos for you to check out. I'll see you next time.